defense contractor Leonardo US wants to bolt wireless sensors onto ordinary license plate cameras to turn them into device scanners. And among 100 passing cars, only one carries your exact combination of gadgets. Leonardo has now built an upgrade that reaches past the bumper, a system designed to sweep the wireless signals from every device inside your vehicle and package all of that data for the agencies already on its customer list. What Leonardo has actually built inside that upgrade is stranger and more specific than any headline has spelled out. The product is called Signal Trace, and it bundles a standard automatic license plate reader, what the industry calls an ALPR, with a new layer of wireless sensors. An ALPR is just the roadside camera you have driven past thousands of times without noticing. It photographs your plate and logs the timestamp and location, no interaction required. What Signal Trace adds on top of that is a simultaneous sweep for Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and RFID signals, broadcasting from every device within range of the camera. Leonardo, which is a defense contractor with police departments, border security, and government agencies already on its customer roster, received the patent for the underlying technology 2 years ago, and the system is now being actively marketed to those same clients. The patent is live, the clients are identified, and what Signal Trace actually captures is longer than the headline suggests. Drive past an equipped sensor and Signal Trace captures identifiers from your smartphone, your smartwatch, your wireless earbuds, your vehicle's infotainment system, its built-in Wi-Fi hotspot, and its tire pressure monitoring sensors. RFID objects are in scope too, luggage tags to pet microchips. Leonardo's own product materials name pet microchips as a potential tracking entry point, which means if your dog is in the back seat, that signal goes into the sweep as well. The company says it only captures device frequencies emitted into the air and does not decrypt or read the content of any communications. Technically accurate and entirely beside the point, because what those frequencies add up to is the story. Leonardo's own marketing materials make the precision of that sweep concrete. The company frames this capability as bridging the gap between vehicle and occupant, which is a polished way of saying the car is no longer the unit being tracked. You are. Swap the plates, rent a different vehicle, obscure the bumper. The fingerprint follows the person, not the metal, turning a vehicle registry into something closer to a permanent identity file nobody asked you to file. And the baseline situation before Signal Trace arrived was already more serious than most people realize. The Electronic Frontier Foundation found that ordinary ALPRs, no wireless sensors, no device sweeps, just photographs of license plates at multiple road points, were already enough to establish a person's pattern of life. Repeated snapshots across a daily routine reveal where someone works, which medical facilities they visit, which houses of worship they attend, and who they regularly travel with, all without a warrant. Signal Trace does not invent the surveillance problem. It multiplies one that was already thorough enough to map a private life, and that multiplication only carries weight if the law has something to say about it, which is where the situation gets most uncomfortable. The payoff for anyone who drives is this: there is no federal law that explicitly prohibits it. State ALPR laws were written for plate images, not for mass wireless collection, which leaves Signal Trace operating in a regulatory gray zone right now. No warrant requirement, no consent mechanism, and no explicit prohibition on the books. Leonardo's legal defense is that it captures only broadcast signals and never touches the content of communications. Technically true, but critics point out that your home address, your doctor's office, your place of worship, and your political associations are all reconstructible from location metadata alone without opening a single message. If you drive, you are in range, and the opt-out picture is even bleaker than the legal one. Turning off Bluetooth sounds like the obvious fix, but it runs into a structural wall. Most modern infotainment systems automatically re-enable their wireless radios on reboot, which means a manual toggle gets undone every time you start the car. MAC address randomization, the technique smartphones use to rotate their hardware identifiers and resist passive tracking, remains imperfect enough that researchers have documented reliable close-range workarounds. More fundamentally, Signal Trace does not need your phone to cooperate at all. Tire pressure sensors and infotainment radios broadcast continuously regardless of any setting you have toggled, and those signals are part of the fingerprint bundle. There is no banner asking your consent, and there is no practical opt-out. And that's before you account for what happens when this infrastructure starts serving a secondary market. Leonardo markets Signal Trace partly on retail crime prevention. The pitch that shoplifting investigations and parking fraud justify the hardware rollout. Technologists and civil liberties researchers warn that this framing is exactly how surveillance infrastructure scales. Tools deployed for one narrow stated purpose get quietly repurposed for routine policing, immigration enforcement, or political targeting once the sensors are already in place and the data is already flowing. The patent is granted, the marketing is live, the customer list exists, and the only variable left is whether any legislature moves faster than the hardware does. The license plate camera was a tool for tracking cars. Signal Trace is a tool for tracking people. Every wireless signal your vehicle and every device you carry emit continuously, logged without your action, cataloged without your knowledge, and sold under a legal framework that has not caught up to what the hardware can already do. The gap is wide open right now, and the infrastructure is not waiting for anyone to close it. Stay patched.